Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. I'm your host, joined as usual by my best mucker, gooner, Hilsey. I'm also joined by Andrew. We will be talking about the Crystal Palace game, a hard game against decent opposition. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, gentlemen. These 2:00 Sunday kickoffs aren't really good for me because I'm normally quite good, and I don't go to the pub afterwards. I normally get home and have some food and stuff like that. But Andrew and your son Theo and Dan convinced me to go back to the pub afterwards, and I even was going to leave. And let's have one. Andrew said, and then he abandoned me.
No. I said, let's have one. You bought a second one, which I wasn't expecting, and then realised what time it was. I need to get back on the train.
You abandoned me.
I didn't say you could stay there till 10 o'clock. That wasn't my fault.
I didn't say that till 10 o'clock, but it was late enough. I tell you what, it was a little bit. You won't understand this, Trev, because you haven't done it since June. But for the first time in a very, very long time, I woke up with a headache at 6 o'clock this morning. Trevor, how are you?
Good. I'm boring Arsenal. Boring Arsenal. Oh, isn't it a great time to be an Arsenal fan, eh? I'm going to talk about it in a bit, but the Liverpool fans have been going loopy today. Listen, I've just got one bit of advice to Liverpool fans, and I do repeat it later in a more serious message. Liverpool fans, it's good to talk, right? You need to clear your heads because you're gonna go crazy. Anyway, yeah. Look, right. Can't wait to talk about yesterday's game, Ferg. Over the moon with how it worked out. Can't wait to talk about next weekend, Burnley away. And then, of course, a week today, I'll be doing this podcast. I may be a little under the influence, you know.
Oh, he's breaking out. Watch out, world. Watch out, Prague. It's about 90p a pint out there, and it's mega strong. You don't break into Magalays like what Dan did, what he did in Lons when he went on the strong beer and posted it on Twitter. Dan's not very well.
I bet Dan's not very well.
He stayed in the pub even longer. He stayed 2 hours longer than me with my brother, probably working out tactics for Man United or something like that. I don't know. I can just imagine the conversation was brilliant.
I think Lyle's well and truly nailed that there. So we well and truly kept the get the locals going on Sunday. There was a load of us in there. There's a lot of Guinness drank. What a good day. Good day.
Boys, it looks like I might be drinking on my own in Prague, but knowing our mate Dan like I do, something tells me that he ain't telling the truth there. I think he might just be partaking.
It might be.
It might be revenge, Trevor. Where was it you went to that time and she said that he'd let you down because you weren't drinking up? It might be the way around this time, mate. He might be letting you down.
Yeah, I don't care anyway. I don't care. I think I'm gonna have a drink in Prague, actually. I might have a whiskey and diet Coca-Cola with no ice. Just the one.
So we let me just take that down a second. We started against Crystal Palace with an unchanged lineup for the first time since September 2024 versus Leicester City. The lineup was Raya in goal. Well, he was working from home apparently, Trevor. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice, Zubamendi, Eze, Saka, Trossard, and Gyökeres. Talk to me about this lineup, and Trev. How did you feel with Trossard? I know it's almost like a stock record sometimes, but how did you feel about Trossard? Were you comfortable with the lineup? And
look, right. Trossard has been playing really, really well, and I thought we had a good game yesterday. I've seen one or two people having a little moan about him, but most people seem to think he played really well. I think his confidence is growing. He looks like he's trying to do more on the ball. Obviously, sometimes things don't come off, but that happens to every player. I was really happy to see Trossard in there. Really happy to see Gabriel in the side because I knew what was coming against Palace. But because Mateta is a fine centre forward, as we saw yesterday. So I was pleased to see Gabriel in there. I had no problem at all with the lineup, and as it turned out, because we used 5 subs, I've got no problem with what was on the bench. Great team to put out. Yeah, no problem. Best we can do, I think, at the minute.
Andrew, both teams had featured in Europe midweek. We featured on Tuesday, and we won 4-0 against Atletico Madrid. And Palace were playing at home on Thursday, so they had less time to recover. But we did know that Gabriel, which Trevor spoke about, he went off with a knock, didn't he, on Tuesday? So we were a little bit concerned, would he be fit and ready for the game? How are you with the lineup?
I was surprised to see Gabriel in there. I mean, I know he kind of didn't train, did he, at all during the week, or very little during the week, but he was on the walk with the boys in the morning before the game. So you kind of got that inkling he was going to be in that 11. But you know what? At the moment, when you've got Mascara who can come and play into that position, you just kind of think, do you know what? Against a Palace team, which, they're a good team, but I think if he was missing, I don't think I'd have been too worried. I'd rather have him going into sort of the next few games, definitely, because we've got a couple of tricky fixtures coming up.
Can we just take note? I've got it right this time.
Hold on, mate.
Arsenal won.
Well done.
Yeah. So round of applause for me. Round of applause for me.
Done.
Thank you.
You've written 2 words and 2 numbers in the right order. Wow, you're off the scale. You are.
And the dash in the middle. Don't forget the dash in the middle. It wouldn't look right.
I would have said your grade A there, but I wouldn't have been referring to your literacy, to be honest.
I tell you what, if you'd have heard these 2 before we went live on air, crikey me. God, this is tame compared to what it was 5 minutes ago.
Trevor, thank you, Trevor. Dan, thank you. Please stop. I've got a blush in a minute. You mentioned Trossard earlier. We'll get into the game itself, but I was speaking to Mem, a friend of mine, earlier today, and he was talking about Trossard. He said, I don't think Trossard had a really good game. And I saw, and Dan saw, and Simon in the chat said most people around him thought Trossard was excellent, and that is hugely important. That when you are seeing what you want to see yourself, like I've taken it over the last couple of games to watch Zubimendi for 5 minutes or so, following what you said a couple of weeks ago, Trev, and just you can watch players an awful lot more when you're not directed by a Sky camera or whatever. So it is important that you don't see half of what goes on sometimes off the ball, Trev.
Yeah, I agree. Ferg, I'm just going to put our mate Kev right here. I believe it was an injury, Kev, to Saliba. Although, if I'm honest, I think Saliba probably had his hardest game this season in the first half against Mateta. He was just hanging on to his coattails. It kept him out. He did well, but it was his hardest game. Right, what was your question, Ferg? Sorry, so I just wanted to answer Kev there.
Yeah, it's just a difference of, like, you thought Trossard, I thought Trossard, Dan thought Trossard, Andrew, I think, mentioned Trossard, and Simon in the chat said he had a really good game. And then when I'm talking to somebody who watched it just on telly, thought he had a quiet game. Also thought Saka had a quiet game. Yeah,
I think that yesterday's game was one of them games where you see it very differently in the ground, because especially the first half, the ball was moving at a rate of knots, end to end at times, and you see a lot going on off the ball, and you see the players' movements off the ball. And I thought that Trossard was really, really good. I think he deserves to be rotating in that front 3. And when I saw Martinelli warming up, I said to the bloke, my mate that stands next to me, I said, it wouldn't surprise me if Saka don't go off here. And because I thought that out of the neither Saka or Trossard were bad, they both did well. But I thought Trossard was having a little bit more success than Saka yesterday. And when Saka went off and Martinelli came on, I wasn't surprised at all. And to be able to rotate them front 3, the way that all 3 of them are playing at the moment, is absolutely superb. Trossard, people, once people get it in their head that a player isn't the best, right? They tend to start watching a game with that in their heads, right? I think. And if you clear your head and just watch the game on the merit of that 90 minutes, you may see that player in a different light, because I, like many others now, thought that Trossard was very good yesterday.
The first half was, as you said, the ball was pinging around everywhere, but it was very much we were putting long balls in. We were putting balls in to try and breach the Palace defence, which were very, very good. Palace sat really deep, didn't give us very much opportunity, but they were trying a lot on the counter attack, and you can see Mateta up against Saliba, and you can see the size of the guy, the speed of the guy. He's a useful player, Andrew, isn't he?
Oh, I mean, it's not until you actually see him stuck next to William Saliba you realise how big he is. He's massive. He's not just sort of, height wise, but he's so wide. I mean, it's no wonder Saliba had such a tough game with him because, he's a big, strong lad. And, it's like we were talking about, it makes you realise how high that keeper's foot was that actually got him round the side of the head. Why everybody was talking arms about it, but yeah, he's a proper handful. But yeah, Saliba, I agree with Trev. Saliba had a really tough 45 minutes against Mateta. He was, powerful, and he was, there was a lot of times he could have come in on goal, but I think the Gabriel did well when they broke down the right hand side. I remember, and then he came in and slid the ball away. And Saliba, Saliba showed his thanks on that one because I think he got caught a little bit wrong footed.
Palace a few times on the counter attack. Trevor, how did you find our defense is just unreal at the minute? It's the way it deals with it is unreal. But I think most teams succumb to that Palace attack, don't you?
Look right. Absolutely, Ferg. I agree with what both of you just said about Mateta. I wanted the Arsenal to sign him in the summer, and yesterday he just confirmed that I'd have loved to have seen him at the Arsenal. It would, but see, the thing is, right, we've got a cracking defence at the moment, right? Teams are going to really struggle to break us down. So we are going to win games 1-0, right? If anyone don't like that, tough cookie. And especially against teams like Palace, right? Because if I'm honest, Palace's defence was almost, not quite, but almost on a level with ours yesterday, right? They played 3 big lads across the back with their wing backs dropping. And they were very, very accomplished in doing what they were made to do and very organised, very organised. And they were always going to be difficult to beat because they dropped back very quickly. But unlike what we normally face on the low press, we had to be careful because they broke quickly. They knew where every player was and they could break out of that low block very quickly. So to win 1-0 against Palace, I honestly came out of the ground thinking, do you know what? That's a really good result. We've just beaten a really good Palace side. How on earth AEK Larnaca came over and beat them last week, I do not know for the life of me. But yeah, I was over the moon. We beat a very good side yesterday, and I've got no problem with it at all.
And it was interesting, a very good side, as you say. But it's interesting because Palace, for me, are not a side that you normally think as a good team, if you know what I mean. You think of them as a mid-table and it should be like an easy rollover sort of a game. But of recent time with this new manager, Andrew, they're just growing. They've got their FA Cup, they've got the Community Shield. I know we're talking a bit more about Palace than we are Arsenal, but they deserve some credit for yesterday.
Oh, they do massively. I think they've underachieved over when you think about the last few years. I mean, I was so great to see them lift the FA Cup. If any team, kind of deserves something from past bits, then it was them that, kind of have played the good football and deserve to go and win it. So it's playing Palace at any time, home or away, is a tricky fixture because they're a really, really strong team, especially away. They're a strong team at Selhurst Park, but, you just don't really want to be. It's one of those games again that we could have easily dropped a couple of points when the weekend the results went for us across the board.
Trevor, it took us 39 minutes to break Palace down. We didn't get really much of a look in the first half hour or so. Rice curled in a brilliant ball to the back of the box. It was nodded onto the penalty spot by Gabriel. And as the ball was being cleared, Eze, what a volley he got. It was like this karate kick. And he was just absolutely determined to whack it in the back of the net, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. What a great finish it was, eh? And a needed finish, because interesting what you just say about the first half an hour where there weren't many chances, Ferg, right? And you're exactly right. And I honestly think it was 2 really good sides feeling each other out. Both were having a go a bit, but both were blunting each other out. As I said right at the start, and I'll say it again, 2 cracking defences, right? Defending their team's goal. So, yeah, I thought that breaking it down when we did with Eze scoring was brilliant because I had it in my head that we probably weren't going to get many more chances the way the game had been going, Yeah. So when something like that comes along, you've got to take it. And he took it very, very nicely. And I'm going to credit the Palace fans before you come in, Fergie, because they welcomed Eze at the start of the game. He scored a goal against them and they've still clapped him at the end of the game. So credit to Palace fans. Credit to Palace fans, Fergie.
Yeah, as Gary said, West Ham fans should take some note when this chuck some abuse at Declan Rice when he's taking corners and everything else. It was also nice to see as they actually celebrate the goal as well, because he plays for Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan, and yeah, he didn't go over the top, and but he did celebrate the goal. He scored a goal. That's the way it should be.
There's no need for him to go over the top, is it? He just he's done what he's doing what he needs to do and stuff. And he was respectful enough, and I think he was respectful to the fans, and they gave the respect back. It just shows you what class he is. That the fact that their reception for him. But we bumped into a guy at King's Cross, and he was on his way back, and he was Palace, and he was just saying, he said that that game, we were going to win it. They weren't expecting anything from it, and that he said it was so good to see Eze playing in the middle. He says because if he stays there for you this season, he said hands down, you're going to walk the league, you're going to win it.
Yeah,
he's not going to stay there. Do you think?
Every Palace fan I've spoken to, Andrew, has said to me, he's better in the middle. Don't play him wide.
Yeah, everyone said the same as well. And you look at where he is, and so when you go back to the point yesterday about two really good defenses, when we were playing out from the back, and you had Saliba just knocking the ball forward and forward, there was no real option for him further up the pitch. We were really having to break the pitch down in stages to get to where we were. And I think that's kind of where the Trossard Martinelli thing came in yesterday. I think where they're two completely different players, and Trossard cuts in and makes those runs inside, where Martinelli will stay further out on the left and get the chalk on his boot. So it was a very tactical game yesterday, and I think really good that we actually came out on top of it.
Yeah. At the beginning of the second half, there was a substitution. Saliba went off and Mascara came on. Not Mascara.
Christ, you were going to say that.
Did they take the piss out of me in the pub? They absolutely destroyed me all afternoon. And then Dan turned up late as usual, and he started. And it was, Jesus, just give it a rest. I'm going to cock it up somewhere along the line. But yeah, the XG, which I don't really like, but the XG for the first half was 0.2, the lowest first half of any Premier League match so far this season. But it's much more in contrast to the start of the second half. And there was a lot more activity in the beginning of the second half. We had a few chances. Gabby came close twice, hitting the bar once. And then Saka had that, I think it was from a Gabby chance. The ball came back out and came to Saka, and he was that far away from hitting the post, hitting the back of the net. It went round the post. And we looked a bit.
The ball nearly took our heads off. We were right behind it, so it was curling in. It looked like it was proper going, and it just didn't have enough on it to go behind. But yeah, I think if you ever get to see my reaction on Match of the Day, you'll see how close it was.
I think
I look a right knob. I'm not going to lie.
Mascara looked in the eye. Yeah.
Berg, listen, right. Do you know I was really worried when I saw Mascara come on, right? Not because I was worried about Mascara. He's obviously a high-class player, and we've got a great player on our hands. But when you think about the trouble Saliba had, and then we took him off and chucked this young lad on, I thought, now he's going to really be tested now. And in fairness to him, Ferg, he did brilliant, didn't he? You know what I mean? He just it was seamless.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, Dan didn't even notice that. He said it was about 5-10 minutes into the second half. Dan went, Rice got off. I said, he was changing half time. And Saliba. He went, sorry, I was just reading something else here. Sorry. Saliba got off. He was changing half time. And he just did not, but that is exactly as you say, Trevor, seamless. He just comes in, and then Hincapié came on later on for Calafiori. What did we make of? Well, let's talk about Calafiori's performance. Yet again, a sterling performance. And then Hincapié. Go on, Trev. I can see you're chomping at
He's getting all excited at that, isn't he?
It's the hair.
I mean, I love Calafiori, right?
We can tell.
I love him. He's he's gone so far beyond what my personal expectations of him were, because we didn't know him. I wasn't sure about him. I thought, he's coming to be a backup for Lewis Skelly. Oh my God, right? We've got a proper player on our hands, right? We really have. He just purrs around the field, right? Do you know, the thing is, right, though, and Simon, I was just about to say this, and Simon's put this up in sort of different words, right? I'm purring about Calafiori, but on their day, I can purr about any of the players we put on the field or any that we've got on the bench, right? Because we just have a fantastic squad of players. But Calafiori, unbelievable, brilliant again, superb again. And you spoke about those just after half time. We had the chance you spoke about, Ferg, where Gabriel hit the bar, then Rice has followed up and Henderson's just parried it. And then from that, it comes out and Saka curls it past the post, right? And I actually thought to myself, if one of them three ain't gone in, this is going to be a long half, because we ain't going to get many more chances against Palace. And it actually it was a bit of a nail biter at the end, wasn't it, boys?
Well, it was, because we made changes. As I said, Saka came off for 66 minutes for Martinelli, who did make a big impact. Do we think there's a problem with Saka, or do you just think it was game management and minutes being managed? I think that's what it was.
No, I think so. I think last year we screened all like back end of last season to give him a rest and give him a break, and now we've got the perfect opportunity to give him that rest and give him the break that he needs. Bear in mind, a few weeks ago he was playing for England. He played an hour for England, and I think nearly 75 minutes. So it's great that we've got this depth of squad to be able to make these changes. I mean, bear in mind, Martin Odegaard's not even on the bench, and we've not mentioned him for ages. But you look at the players who never made it onto the pitch that were on the bench on yesterday. I keep saying Saturday, but you got Manweri, you got Ben White.
Don't cock it up whatever you do.
I know, that's not never at the end of that one. But we've got on that bench. I mean, like we said before, if Ben White came on, we'd be happy. If Norgard come on, we'd be happy. It's just great to be able to have those options, and for what Arteta must have behind him to know that he can change the game especially with 5 subs. He can change the game so quickly with the manpower we've got from the bench. Must be great.
Yeah.
Just gone off a little bit there, because you mentioned Odegaard and we're talking about Saka. Earlier, Demsek put this one on and started. Does Saka need Odegaard to link passes and get the best out of him?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm sorry, Kev. I don't normally disagree with you, mate. We're normally on the same wavelength. But look, right, Saka has been playing absolutely superbly. He's been back to his best. And yesterday, he was just below that level again. And we all saw it and we all noticed it and we all thought, what's going on? Yeah, Palace did close him down very quickly, very, very quickly. And they could afford, with having the wing back, I think they could afford to double up on the occasion, because they've got the wing back dropping with the left of the 3. But then when Arteta said he was ill during the week, I thought, well, that's fair enough if he's been ill. But then I thought, and this is one I'll chuck back to you, boys, with the squad we've got and the quality we can bring into the team, if he's been ill during the week, why did he start him, boys?
Yeah, I suppose there is a bit of that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Saka's the type of player that goes, no, I'm playing. I'm declaring myself fit. I want to play, because he's going to want to run that pitch all the time. But there is probably a little bit of responsibility for it in there. But it's a good point. But it's for me, he walks into that team even if he's half fit, he's playing, because he is playing so well at the moment. And there's a few people again that have mumbled about he's not been his best, he's not been doing this because he's not been scoring. It's not what he does when he scores; it's what he does off the ball and what he does down that wing to draw players away to make space for everybody else. And I think that is really what you see if you watch him. Like Ferg was saying before, when he was watching Zubimendi, you really do see how his movement off the ball is phenomenal.
We said earlier that it became a bit of a nail biter at the end. There was changes. As I said, we had Martinelli come on, who I thought performed really, really well. I like your description. He likes to get the chalk dust on his boots, because he is very much stuck to that wing the whole way along. Where Trossard, as you said when we were talking on the phone earlier, seems to drift in and hover around the 18-yard box and go from there. But we made changes. Hingapia came on from Calafiori, Moreno came on for Rice, and Lewis Skelly came on from Eze. And we tried to change it to 2 banks of 5. I saw Arteta going like that, 2 banks of 5. It made it a little bit hairy in the end, didn't it, Trev?
Yeah, didn't it ever, eh? It was a long 6 minutes extra time, wasn't it, eh? We just sat deep like we were the away team defending a cup final lead, you know. It was strange. I found it really strange. I mean, we were hoofing the ball up the field from defence and there was no one chasing the ball and there was no one even coming out. We were just like sitting 10 men deep, you know. Talk about low press. That was the lowest of the low press, you know. But it got us through the game. So what can you say? What can you say? You can't say, you know, it did its job. Do you
Mark Gahey came close as well, didn't he? Shooting just over the bar as well. But as Irish Mick said, it looked like they had 10 men up front.
Yeah,
there was a comment put into the game, one of the match reports, and I was sure reading it through earlier on about them having a shot from over the bar, just went over the bar towards the end, and I'm thinking, I can't remember that. So I went back and watched it. It nearly cleared the stadium. It wasn't that close. It was,
okay. I've probably read that one as well.
I think you have.
Yeah. There's probably a similar sort of one. Let's talk Victor Gyökeres then. So Victor Gyökeres. So when we talked last week, Trevor, we mentioned Harry Symeou's little clip and his observation that he seemed to be more worried about the physicality and the players that were coming up against him rather than looking for the ball. Now, I don't know if he's heard that, listened to it, or somebody's picked up on it. Because for me, yesterday, he looked like he was easily turning his man and trying to get round his man and definitely play the ball a little bit more. Did you not think?
Do you know what, Fergus? Interesting. Just going to answer Demsek here. Yeah, I expected an extra minute, Kev, because there was 2 substitutions made in the 6 minutes, and that's meant to be 30 seconds a sub, isn't it? So
45 seconds a sub now.
Right, okay. Yeah. It was interesting for me yesterday. Gyökeres. I said it, Gyökeres. You could see he tried his socks. He ran his socks off for 90 minutes, right? Absolutely ran himself into the ground. His effort levels were off the scale. I loved the way he tried to get to the ball. But if I'm really honest, and people might shout me down here, I think that he met his match with Crystal Palace's 3 big central defenders. I think they handled him as well as Saliba and Gabriel, or Mosquera and Gabriel and Timber and Calafiori handled Palace's attack. I think that was where both sides were going to struggle to score. Gyökeres was, and it happens to centre forwards. I'm not saying Gyökeres is poor, but it happens. They get games where they're well managed, right? And I thought we managed Mateta up front yesterday, who you said earlier, Ferg, is a monster. And Palace handles Gyökeres. That's what happens in football. Move on, you know. I don't know how you boys saw it.
I think the same with it. I think, you know, Lyle put earlier in the comments about sort of, you know, he drags defences apart, and it's his power that it brings in sort of, you know, sort of allows Saka and, you know, Trossard or Martinelli to really come into the play. And I think that is he plays so well. You know, you hear these little comments, little gripes about, oh, he's not scoring. I'm not bothered. You know, he can not score for the rest of the season if we're going to win 1-0 every week, and you know, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think he does offer more to the team than just scoring. But I think there was one opportunity he did have playing towards the North Bank, and the ball came over the top to him. And that Dan says to me that he doesn't rate his first touch. And on this occasion, I think I have to agree with him. He didn't take the ball down well. And if he had taken his first touch, he would have just volleyed that in the back of the net. Do any one of you recall that one came right through the middle onto the penalty spot?
Yeah, I think Theo came up with a point. We were talking about it on the train on the way back, and he was saying to me that he's seen somewhere that Tim in the Portuguese league, wasn't it? He came from he basically in the Premier League he has 0.9 of a second less on the ball than he did when he's in Portugal. So you know he's got to adapt to that. That the game is so much quicker. I've got no worries about this guy absolutely banging the goals in the back of the net at some point. He will still score 20 plus goals this season.
And he's given us more outlet on the right hand side of the pitch as well.
He's given us a load more outlet, everything right across the pitch. He's a guy that and he can hold the ball up well. And the one thing that we haven't mentioned that I really, really love about him is his tracking back and his way to close the ball down to not give anybody time on the ball. He doesn't stop running. I'd love to see how much he covers on the pitch. It'd be scary.
Yeah. Can I just go down on record here, Ferg, and I stand by this, right? This Arsenal team this season is a better Arsenal team for having Gyökeres in the side, right? I think
100%.
His movement, the space he creates, the way others are allowed to play their game because of what he's doing. And yeah, he's not scored the goal. I don't care. This season we are a better side for having Victor in. And he's playing 90 minutes a lot of weeks at the moment. He played 90 minutes yesterday, I think, didn't he? Yeah, he played 90 minutes against Fulham. Mikel Arteta is not the kind of manager that leaves a player on for 90 minutes if he's not pulling his weight and showing his importance. And by the fact that Arteta is leaving him on the field all game, every game, talks a lot for the boy and how he rates him. And I agree.
Crystal Palace had one shot recorded on target. That's got to be investigated by the Trade Subscriptions Act, hasn't it? Because for me, that was Eddie Nketiah playing Eddie Nketiah impeccably, jumping up for a header that he didn't get, and David Raya got it, but that was put down as a shot on target. Ridiculous.
It is, and it's also going down as the only shot on target we've had against us in October in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so it makes it even worse of a mock.
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice to have no shots on target. No shots.
Great on target.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, Arnie has spoken. He says they've changed it. They did change it. He says
they did change it. Okay, let me just see what BBC, because I've had the BBC website up here and see what they've.
I'm not sure what's going on with my. I can't get that. Ferg, what have you done to this script? Yeah. We're back.
Arsenal website still shows that shots on target is 1. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, BBC has shown we had 3 shots on target. They had 1, so that must be the official stuff. Sorry, Arnie, might be different in Iceland.
Do you know something that surprised me yesterday, boys? Watching, I don't know if you boys noticed it. I noticed it because it seems to happen time and time again, right? You know, when the tackles were made, when the 2 players and the ball bounces away from the tackle, they nick. Yesterday, I just thought that about 90% of the time, that ball ended up at a Palace player's feet. It was just one of them games. I'm not crying. I'm not saying that we're unlucky. I'm not saying that we were cheated. Just seemed the run of the ball yesterday, when it comes out of a tackle and goes anywhere it can, the run of the ball went to Palace yesterday. And
somebody made a comment back in the chat about the Palace manager made them stand in our playing line. So
I saw that.
Yeah. It was further back up. So maybe it was a tactic. The manager's very, very clever. He's very, very good to take that team with the limited talent they've got and the ownership that they've got as well. I think they've done very, very, very well. Right, since the start of 2022-23, we've picked up 90 points in London derbies, winning 27, drawing 9, and only losing 3, 24 more than any other side in London. So North London is definitely red. Well, actually, the whole of London is red according to those stats, isn't it?
Which, mate, I tell you what, it's so good at the moment to see us sort of just picking these points up against anybody. These teams. I mean, if we can go back to where we were a few weeks ago, we were saying the 5 games we got were games that we dropped points in previously, and so far, touch wood, we've nailed every single game. And it's just we've got two more tricky games coming up before the international break. But then, if we've gone through these games like the way we're going to with 4 points on the board, that's phenomenal.
Do you know what as well, Ferg? Arnie's right here.
I was going to come to that. Yeah, I was going to come to that in a second. Just finishing up on what Andrew was saying there. Newcastle away, West Ham at home, Fulham away, Palace at home. 2 points we took last season, 12 points this season. I don't care if it's a set piece. I don't care if it's a corner. I don't care if it's a penalty. I don't care if it's a screamer from the halfway line. A goal is a goal. And the BBC, exactly as Arnie said on there, are absolute clowns. Since when did a goal in open play count differently than a goal coming from a corner or a set piece?
Do you know what? After the debacle that is Sky TV nowadays, right? I don't watch their stats or their shows or that. But I have been watching the BBC, and I've been reading about. I use the BBC site to read up on games and that. But that was probably on a lower level than Sky would even go to, putting up that table. You got to laugh, boys. You've got to laugh, because the one thing we've got to do is get used to it, right? We've got to get used to it, because it's going to be like it all season. They hate seeing Arsenal anywhere in the doing well. They love to be able to get on our backs, enjoy it, laugh at it. As I said earlier, Liverpool, a couple of Liverpool fans on social. Liverpool fans are the worst at the moment. They're very salty at the fact
they've gone very quiet. They're going very quiet now.
Oh, no, I'm finding a few coming up on my timeline, and I've been a bit lively the last couple of days on it. So my algorithm is showing me Liverpool fan stuff. But a couple of them today have mentioned about we'll bottle it, right? And we bottle it. Hang on a minute. 4 games ago, Liverpool were 5 points clear. Now they're now 7 points behind, a 12-point swing in 4 games. There's only one team that's bottled it so far this season, and it ain't the Arsenal. It ain't Arsenal,
Alex Ferguson once said you cannot win the league if you lose more than 5 games. Only 9 games in. There's no way Liverpool are not going to lose 2 more games this season. So I think Liverpool have about to bottle the league already.
There was all this talk, wasn't it, a few weeks ago about he's playing with the handbrake on and all stuff like this, and he's not doing what we needed to do. Have you seen Arteta's press conference where he's walking out and someone says, one of the guys who wrote it, sort of come back and he just looks him in the eye and goes, maybe I should learn to take the handbrake off, eh? And they've just been speaking about how many goals we've not conceded and how many games we've won and how well we're playing and stuff like that. And I just thought, fair play, but I wish you'd have got that on mic somewhere properly where that had gone, live, because that'd been great.
Yeah.
And Liverpool are the only team to won 4 in a row now. Technically, what's that said? Technically, a goal wasn't a set piece. I thought that, because it is the set piece is the Gabriel Rice interaction, rather than when the ball comes out, it bounces out towards Eze and he takes a volley. So
Dempsey says the same. Dempsey says the same as well. I don't care, but just for what is the definition of a set piece? Dempsey says the same. As if Mendy scores from outside the box.
Put it down as a set piece, because it just rubs them up the wrong way even more. I want us to win the rest of this season's games 1-0, right? Scoring from a long throw-in or a corner or a free kick, right? And people will have to delete me off of social media, because I will be unbearable.
You are anyway.
Yeah, probably.
It's Declan Rice been working on his long throws. I've never ever seen him take a throw-in like that for ages. And he took 2 or 3 yesterday, and he launched them, and some of them were like, really nearly hitting the penalty spot. So that guy's been practicing, definitely.
So the Ronnie put a comment in earlier on that George Graham and his wife Susan were watching the game. I wonder what he was thinking. 1-0 to the Arsenal. It was a George Graham, boring Arsenal. The library, whatever you want. All those things come on in the George Graham era. He must be looking at Arteta and going, that he's like a modern reincarnation, a modern version of what George Graham is doing. Because I can imagine, like we've seen the documentary, but I can imagine that Arteta behind the scenes can be really good. But if you don't do what Arteta wants, I think you could get the same sort of treatment that George Graham would give you, which is a hairdryer of some sort. What do you reckon, Trev?
That's what it should be.
George is a grumpy old man, right?
I know, I met him.
But underneath that somber expression yesterday, I'm 99.9% certain that George Graham would have been laughing his head off, smiling and cracking jokes to himself and absolutely loving that 1-0. It was a George Graham special, and the way teams playing against us this year. Right, I saw this on social media earlier, and it got me thinking. Look, a lot of teams aren't coming to play us. Take Fulham last week, prime example, right? Take Man United even. You can even go as far as to say Liverpool when we lost to Liverpool. They weren't free-flowing and coming out to play us. The first thing on their mind is they've got to stop us scoring, because the likelihood is they're not going to score against our defence. Right now, absolutely, Liverpool scored a worldie against us and beat us. but even their manager, Mr. Slot, he said after the game that game could have gone either way. You know, it was a game of brilliant tactics to us, and it's gone to me now. But teams are not coming out to play us, so we are going to win from set pieces. We are going to get to win games 1-0 because we're going to score a goal and not give one away, like we did yesterday, like we did at Fulham. And if you don't like it,
Tough.
you can lump it because we are the Arsenal. That's how we do things. Boring Arsenal.
I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
370 people watching us live at the moment. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. If you're on Twitter, please take a chance to go across to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. It really does help us out. We might even get to that elusive £60 one day, and I'll buy somebody a beer. Mind you, I spent way more than that bloody pub on Saturday. Oh, I looked at my bank statement today. Honestly, I'm away in Germany this weekend. I'm thinking, oh my good God, this is going to be an expensive month. Trevor, we do it every game. We talk about the importance of it's good to talk. Andy's Man Club. So it's not as good. It's okay to talk. Sorry. Andy's Man Club are a charity set up to help with men's mental health and suicide prevention. They have Monday nights 7 till 9. So if you don't want to watch us because we're driving you mad, the best place to go if you need that bit of help is go to Andy's Man Club. And here's the information on the screen for you. Andrew, any comments on that?
No, I mean, I think, it's massively important. You go back to, a few things that have gone on, and it's been hugely important to talk to people. It's a major. I've had distant conversations recently where I've had to be given a shake and been told to to cheer up and get on with things, and it'll all be all right. So yeah, it is good to talk, and without those comments we do, it's nice that you've got people behind you who will support you. So definitely.
Trevor, got anything? Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I did in jest say it's good to talk earlier when we were talking about Liverpool fans, but this is serious shit. You know what I mean? I make no apology for swearing there because I want to draw attention. This is serious stuff. Andrew, myself, and Ferg, we're very lucky people, in that we have a wonderful friend base that we can all fall back on. Not everyone is that lucky through no fault of their own, and they need a bit of help sometimes. So we're going to be there for them every week on this show. Every week on this show, I get emotional when we talk about this, right? And people know why. I'm not going to go into it again because it's that important to me. So talk to your mates. If you don't want to talk to your mates, talk to whoever, Samaritans, whoever, go to the doctor, whoever. But we support Andy's Man Club because they've told us about the work they do. We've seen the work they do. We've seen how to help people, and that's who we talk about. But
and Alex is a gooner as well, so that helps as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does indeed. Yeah,
it does. There's actually, if everybody wants to see it, there's actually a video that's been done by Brighton and Hove Albion. It's absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, just Google it and watch it about the guy going to the football and stuff. And not to give too much of it away, but he's watching the game and he's shouting different things. You have to do to what's actually going on in the game. But yeah, really, really powerful video, and just one really to have a watch of.
Yeah, Danny, we're always here, boy. Danny, we're always here, mate. Always.
Yeah. Right. Next up is lost everything. Next up is the League Cup on Wednesday night. Stand up if you hate Tottenham. Everybody will be sitting everywhere. What do you think of Tottenham? That will be ringing out of the Emirates every 30 seconds.
What made me laugh is when we were walking down over the Ken Fry Bridge yesterday, and somebody shouted it, "You bit!" It's the first time you've bit for a long time. And then all of a sudden, this little lad in front of us just went, "What do you think it's Tottenham?" And I just thought, "No, please don't." No,
I didn't. And I didn't. I just saw this little kid in his shirt.
Move on from that rubbish now, boys. Move on from that rubbish.
I just had to say, I thought it was quite funny.
I'm not going to be there on Wednesday night. I chose not to. I'm away this weekend, and I'm away the following weekend. I don't know if she knows or not, but I'm in Germany this weekend, and I'm in the Sunderland the following weekend. So, I have to broach that one soon. But League Cup. What are we expecting on this one, Trevor? I don't think you're making it down because you've got Prague and loads of stuff in the next few weeks.
You're worried about Burnley this weekend away and Sunderland the following weekend away. I've got to tell her about 3 nights in Prague between that yet, mate.
You can't tell her all. You can't tell her everything.
Donna's probably watching, mate. You just told her, so you're fine.
I am very lucky, as you boys well know. I have a wonderful wife
mate.
who supports me in my travels when I go away working to watch the Arsenal.
Working
away. Yeah, Ferg, do you know what? I wanted to come down Wednesday night, but we got a long standing. Ages ago, we agreed we're going to babysit the grandchildren, and they've got to come first on Wednesday night. So I'm missing it. I'd have loved to have been there because I'm enjoying watching the Arsenal at the moment. I don't want to miss any games. But yeah, Brighton at home. And as I think I said before we played Port Vale, we'll probably put our second team out, right? Our reserves out, our squad players out, however you want to call it. But they're good enough to get in 99% of Premier League teams anyway. So we're going to have a cracking side out. And people that don't get to the game very often, that are going to go on Wednesday, are going to see a cracking Arsenal team go out on the field and perform. Arnie, I love you, mate, and I don't often disagree with you because you talk a lot of sense, but we will play the kids. We possibly might have 1 or 2 of the kids on the bench or lingering around, but we've got a big squad of top players now, mate, and we'll have some players, your likes of your Lewis Skelly, your Mascara, your Ben White. They'll all be on the field. They'll all be playing.
But that's just that's scary, isn't it? You just mentioned literally pretty much our starting lineup from last year, and now they're not. It's like you give Ben White and people, like that. I mean, I have to be honest. I thought Ben White. I wanted Ben White to be in the starting 11, but Timber's been that good this year. You can't remove him from that 11. And when we were at United, I was adamant I wanted Ben White down that side with Saka, but I've had to go back on my words there.
Ranieri. Sorry, Ronnie. You're right, mate. Exactly right. I've forgotten Ranieri. And Ranieri will play. Yeah, Cross Jonky. I do love that name, Cross Jonky. I know Cross Jonky is a great lad, local to me.
He's clever. He's clever.
Good game for Gyökeres. Of course. Gotta play him. Yeah.
Do you? Or do you rest him?
No, play him. We've got an international break in a couple of weeks' time.
And he'll go and play for Sweden.
I'd break him, Trev. I'm sorry. I'd put him on the bench for that one.
Who'd you put up top? Who'd you put up top then?
If he goes well.
Trossard? Martinelli?
Yeah. Put Martinelli through the middle as a centre forward, doing that sort of role. It's our 250th game in the competition when we faced Brighton, and Brighton got through with a 6-0 win over Barnsley.
Where did you find out that brilliant stat?
I don't know. Andrew might have put it in the private chat. Brighton got through to this fourth round of the cup after beating Barnsley 6-0 away, and we were playing away to Port Vale, and we won 2-0. And I lived for a night in a horrible house. That was awful. That place,
mate. That was interesting. That place. I don't know how you came out of there alive. To be fair, mate.
Oh, mate, I was knackered the next day. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep a bit. Yeah. I would like to see us progress in the competition, but not at the jeopardy. If progression, look, you've mentioned about the squad depth and everything else, but if progression means that it could jeopardize Premier League or Champions League, I'd be happy to forego this. No, Trev? You're going for
in the words or in the hand signals, right, of the wonderful Andre Arshavin. We're going for 4.
Yeah. The thing is that we've got the squad depth to do it, haven't we? You're not even some of the players you mentioned there. We've not even mentioned Max Dowman, or a couple of the other, the academy players that could come in and do a good job for us.
Yeah,
it's there's no reason why we can't. I do agree. I do agree with you that I wouldn't want to see Gyökeres on the pitch on just actually to start with on Wednesday. I don't know. I just think then you need a break, and it's a perfect example that it's much more important that we go to Burnley on Saturday with a full strength team and make a statement. Make a statement.
Look at that list. Kev's put up there. Damsek's put up there. Look at the list of players: Kepa,
Look at that back. Look at that back four.
Incapi, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Norgard, Marino, Nwaneri. And it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Dowman on the field either, because he needs some more first team time with his Dowman. He's only a
To
kid.
be honest, you could put Nwaneri and Dowman on and play Marino up top.
Yeah. Oh, Marino. You mentioned Marino, have we? Crikey.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
another player.
Hey, listen,
well
we're
said,
getting
Trev, by the way. Well said, Trev. Absolutely. Just like I said, Andre Arshavin. What a great night that was at Anfield.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Any idea, predictions of what you're hoping for? It goes straight to penalties if this not resolved in the 90 minutes.
I don't think it'll go penalties. I think we'll take. I think we'll be. I think it'll be 2-0.
Brighton are a decent side.
Yeah, I know, but I can't see them putting out a full strength team either.
Oh, no.
I don't think they'll go.
I think they will.
Do you?
I think they will.
No.
They've got no Europe, so the three competitions. They're in two competitions now. So they're in the Premier League and the League Cup.
Oh, no.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, maybe.
Bad Ronnie's in the house. Bad Ronnie's in the house, boys. Ronnie, listen. Ronnie, right? Ronnie,
you really need to get live.
Ronnie, listen, right? You won at Everton yesterday. Good performance at their place. And the first thing, I didn't even see a report about.
Oh, have you seen that post?
Hey.
Have you seen that post?
I saw this post saying they're the first team to win at Everton's new stadium. Well, they weren't, because Everton women lost there a couple of weeks ago. But if that's what you're claiming to be history, then you're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble.
Does that mean we've got another DVD on its way coming out?
No, I don't think it's DVD now. I think they'll probably have a streaming service of it.
Okay. Cool.
They'll have THFC IPTV.
$5.99 to watch it here.
Yeah. Good luck, Ronnie. Ronnie, listen. Honestly, I think it's good to have you on and having a bit of banter. That's what football's all about.
Watch out for us up to third. Crikey! I mean, there's your season done already.
I think if I pronounce that, that's probably more like what it is. Turd.
Listen, right. Good luck to him, as you said, Fergie. Comes in here, has a bit of banter with us. You're always welcome, Ronnie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then after Brighton, we go up to I'm going off to Berlin on Friday. I'm going to see Hertha Berlin versus Dynamo Dresden in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. My son-in-law is a big Dynamo fan. He comes.
Who's
Dynamo? Dynamo, as we'd say, but they say Dynamo. Yeah, Dynamo Dresden. I'll be with the Black and Orange Army in the away end. 15,000 of them. What are you laughing at, you muppet?
I'm just going to change the subject. Kev, yeah, Everton women play at the old ground, but I queried that. They have to play one game a season at the men's ground. It's a rule or something. And Everton women played at home in their new ground a couple of weeks ago or something and lost to Man United. Anyway, let's talk about Dynamo Dresden.
Dynamo Dresden, yeah. The 15,000 away fans. And if anybody wants to look up some ultras, look up Dynamo Dresden, if that helps you. I have to get into in the right frame of mind to make sure I call them Dynamo all the time, because that's what they'll call them, and they're always speaking to me in that's going to be a challenge.
Dynamo.
Challenging weekend.
Does he use his Dynamo to put his mascara on?
It's right. Okay, you're a knobhead. There we go. He's gone. Oh, you are prize pricks sometimes. You know that.
Well done, Trev.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Then you guys are heading up to Burnley away. Burnley away to Turf Moor. What was it? Happy Place? What did that?
Yeah, Happy Place. Yeah.
They're a bit feisty at Burnley. They're Moan fans, especially when they get beaten.
Yeah,
they're not very friendly. Them Burnley fans, but I think they've moved the away end this year. It's in the same stand, but they've swapped sides. So I think we might have an exit straight out into the cricket club car park if we're lucky. Oh no, we can't, because we won't be in the cricket club car park. I'm going to have to run the wrath of the angry Burnley fans, but never mind, we'll survive.
Are you not in the cricket club?
No, we're not. We're parking on the street. Because it takes 16 years to get out of the cricket club.
Yeah, I know. It's awful.
After the game last season, it took me that long to get out of the car park at the cricket club in Burnley. I missed the game the following bloody week.
You don't need to worry about that this time, Trev. I think we've got it sorted.
Demsek, you got my name wrong. Fergus. What's that?
Fergus.
That's wrong. So if you're going to take the piss, Demsek, make sure you do it right, okay? So what are we expecting? Burnley's not going to be an easy game. Burnley won away 3-2 the weekend. He's doing all right, that manager there at Burnley, and they're going to be hard to break down. Really hard to break down. What's your expectations for the game then, Andrew? We won't go into a huge amount of talk because Trevor will do it on Friday.
No, I think, again, it's going to be hard. No game's going to be easy for us now. We've got a target in our backs. Everyone's going to want to go and beat us and knock us off our stride. But they are a good team. Burnley's not an easy place to go. As Trev mentioned before, it's quite a raucous place to be. He's got someone to look after in between him and Capo on Saturday. Anyway, he's got Theo in the away end with him on Saturday, so there needs to be on their behaviour. But it'll be good. I think. I still think. I think we'll go 2 or 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0.
Wow.
Rev, your thoughts?
They can be a difficult side to beat at home, Burnley. They really can. And that win at Wolves would have lifted them no end. But obviously, I think we'll beat them because I think the Arsenal win every game. Still not sure about Scott Parker at Burnley. 1 minute I like him, the next thing I think, ugh, you know what I mean? Dressing like a tailor's dummy. Put some tracksuit trousers on, son, or go casual like Arteta or Pep do. Blimey. They must be paying him to wear them suits, Parker, anyway. But he's obviously doing the job at Burnley. So I think, right, and I actually want this result, right, because I want to be on social media on Sunday, right? I actually want this result. I want a 1-0 to the Arsenal, and I want the goal to be scored direct from a corner. No one touch it, straight in the net, right? And then cue the meltdown.
You're in a shitty mood tonight, aren't you? Just in a total wind-up mode.
Proper wind-up mode, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Listen, I to be honest, I'm a bit with Trev. I'm 1-0. I'll take it. Just get away from Burnley. We got a really tough away a game then at Sunderland, who shocked everybody by playing fantastically, though, against Chelsea and nicking a 2-1 there. So that's not going to be an easy game either, Trevor, is it?
Sorry, Andy. Yeah. Do you know what? I worry about Xhaka. Because, come on, let's be honest, right? We fell out with him. Then we made up with him and he left on good terms. But the fact of the matter is, he's a damn fine player, Granit Xhaka. I wouldn't have minded him in this squad now, I wouldn't have minded him in this squad now at all. And he's a damn fine player, and he's going to be up for it against the Arsenal at Sunderland. He's going to be right up for it. Hopefully, he'll put a bad tackle in early doors and get sent off or something, because I want him off the field. I don't want him to play. I'm worried about him. I genuinely am. I think we're good enough to win, but I'm worried about playing against Xhaka.
It's going to be hard. Yeah. That is going to be tough. I mean, the atmosphere up there is going to be electric. I mean, they're going to be all over us. From the minute that we go, they're going to press us.
We're stuck in the goals as well. We're stuck in the goals as well.
We're going to be miles up. I mean, it's going to be good.
The only good thing is it's a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday evening, so most people will be got up early. Most people got up early.
Is that a good thing? We're going to be there at 1.
The atmosphere will be good, and a lot of people staying out in Newcastle that night as well, because the trains are absolutely murder for that one as well. Guys, we've been running for just under an hour. Thank you both for joining us. I won't be here Friday, but Trevor, you'll be doing the usual Friday show, recruiting some people to wind up and annoy as well with you, I'm sure.
I'm on my own at the moment on Friday, but I'll have a chat. You never know. I might even get Andrew to join me if I get lucky.
We had this conversation last night over a drunken pint of Guinness. I don't think you can do it, can you? Not with work.
No, not with Friday, no. Well, Friday, I'm stuck.
You won't get asked again.
He said his grumpy mode on again now. Look,
what's our allocation for Sunderland, Danny? I think it's about
3,000. Yeah, about 3,000.
Sold out to 10 credits plus.
Simon's nailed it though, isn't he? With that one, I said if we have to, we're bouncing around. If we have aspirations on winning the league, it has to be a win. He's completely right. Got to be.
Yeah. These are the games we should be going away and winning. Do you know what, boys? It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I'm going to have Trev time now, Ferg, before you press the button. isn't it easy to talk about your side when you're winning games? You're winning games, right? You've got a superb squad of players. Every one of them could get in most Premier League teams. And you're upsetting every other team's supporters in the league. You know when the Arsenal are doing well. You know when people are worried about the Arsenal, because all sorts of accusations and that start flying around. Enjoy it. I'm doing it with a smile. As I say, if we win 1-0 at Burnley, direct from a corner next week, I will not be off social media on Sunday. Although I've said to the missus, because I'm coming home late Saturday night from Burnley, and then I've got to be up at 4:30 for an early flight to Prague on Monday. So I'm having a day with the missus on Sunday, but I might just have my phone in my hand if we've won 1-0.
Right. Yeah.
Press
Right.
the button.
Boys, I love that every time, especially that always gets me. I think that's Sam in the background, isn't he? Going, Emma.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Right, you have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Thank you very, very much for watching it. What have you done?
I think a bit of my mascara's just got in my eye first.
Oh, you prick. Oh, if you want more of this crap, come back and join us next Monday. But Trevor will be here on Friday with some other poor victim that he's got to absolutely destroy, like he's tried to do to me tonight. Up the Arsenal and Fox Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.